And we are live. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Coach's Corner. When I do that, it reminds me of the classic Price is Right. For some reason, that just popped in my head. But we're gonna share some very powerful material. It's always a pleasure, to be here with my amazing colleagues, and I'm always grateful to tap into this knowledge and help you with it. I'm sure my colleagues here as well love these conversations, and you're gonna hear some amazing perspectives and experience and guidance as we close this. I don't even want to close it, but close this book of Feeling is the Secret by Neville Goddard. So we went in great depth of every chapter, probably, I think a perfect amount of depth, to be honest. And I'm sure we're going to share some amazing things here as well. So hello to everyone that's here live, and also for those that watch the replays and have been tuning in consistently as well. On a lot of the coaches' corners we've been doing. Hopefully this has been helpful for you. So my name is Jamel Matias. I'm a certified mindset success coach / business consultant. And my purpose is to reveal the hidden potential that's already within you and guide you to your truest desires. So I'm the founder of Believe in the Unseen Consulting. It's all about believing in that dream or that goal, and it's readily there for you, and I help guide you there. And I work with individuals, entrepreneurs, and business owners as well. I'm in the Maryland area, still covered in snow and ice, and as most of the country. But I'll pass it on to my amazing colleague, Paul.
Thank you very much, Jamel. Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you're listening from. My name's Paul Wooters, Success Mindset Coach. I'm in Burlington, Ontario. I'm also the leader of the Learning, Leadership, and Development Department at the World Life Education Center. And I help people make meaningful, sustainable changes to their lives, because transformation doesn't happen by accident. It happens by design and with intention. And so I'm not talking about systems here. I'm talking about aligning yourself and becoming and increasing your awareness and helping you design and create your life with intention. I work with individuals, business owners, entrepreneurs, students, and athletes. And this is material, as Jamel would like to say, it's not just gathering information, it's learning how to apply it to your life, and how to live, as we're going to talk about today, in alignment with what you want and how you're feeling, and to make, really sustainable changes in your life. And as Les Brown says, mentors are important because they see something inside you that you don't see yet, and they help draw it out of you. And I'm going to pass this over to my colleague and friend, Lou.
Thank you, Paul. Good morning, good afternoon. Hi, Jamel. Hi, Alicia. So my name is Lou Perica, and I too am a success mindset mentor. And what I've noticed through many years of conversations with women, be they friends or clients or prospects, is many feel a pull towards something more. And at the same time, the self-image that they've been carrying and living from just no longer fits them. Even when life looks good from the outside, there's an internal disconnect, and that can feel exhausting to many women. So the conversations I lead really are about self leadership, letting go of outdated identities, getting clear on who you are now and what truly matters to you and how you want to move forward. And really, that's what we're talking about each week here at Coach's Corner, is how to lead yourself from the inside out, and instead of reacting to everything that's going on around you. So as Paul said, it's not just listening to this information and applying it, but to also have an understanding of what you're applying. And that just makes it easier. So I'm going to now pass it over to my amazing colleague and friend, Alicia.
Thank you, Lou. And hi, Paul, and hi, Jamel, and everybody there outside. in the cyberspace. My name is Alicia Espinosa. I'm also a certified mindset and values coach, and I help people create a life that feels good on the on-site, to create goals or to go after goals that are aligned with their values, because I believe that a goal without the soul without the soul in, is just a empty success, and success without you know or the soul with our goal, it will be a stagnation. So I want to help people or I help people to create a life that feels good on the inside, that is aligned with their values, so that they feel that they are meaningful, that the soul is calling them to do that, not just creating something that they think that they should create just to get happiness. And happiness is inside us, it's not something outside us. So this is what I help people with. And I am in Sweden.
All right. Oh, am I too loud? Let's do it. Let's do it. This is bittersweet because this book right here, Healing is the Secret, is so powerful and packed with so much knowledge. Hello again to those that are live. Appreciate you tuning in. And before we dive in, just feel free to reach out to any of us that you may resonate with or connect with based on what we share here, because, this is life-changing material and it'll change your results and improve your life. And that's why we're all here to guide you to your highest self. And you're infinite, so there is no top level. It's basically how far can you go in this lifetime, right? So these are some beautiful tools or processes that Neville shares. He went through every chapter, right? The law and its operation. That's where he talks about the law, just to kind of recap a little bit. And then he talked about the power of sleep, right? And I remember him sharing, we spend 1/3 of our life in sleep. Really think about that. And that's our ability. We have the ability to create even in our sleep through our subconscious. And now we talked extensively about prayer and a different way of looking at what prayer actually is and utilizing that state as well. And we'll kind of touch up on that, I'm sure, as well, and kind of close off in the book and share just a couple things that we received from this, because I could read this over and over and over. And I know repetition is the key to learning. And it's extremely powerful to be in the presence of this knowledge. So just to kind of touch on a little bit of prayer, he says prayer is not so much what you ask for as how you prepare for its reception. So I love that because it actually broadens your perception. It's not what you ask for. A lot of people see prayer as just getting on your knees, if you do that, or going somewhere and asking for things, and I thought that for majority of my life because that's all I knew. And this is a different way of seeing prayer. It's basically, you already know it's there. You're just preparing yourself through feelings of receiving it. And he says the only condition required is that you believe that your prayers are already realized. So this is massive. Like, how do you do that? How do you believe that something physically isn't here yet? So this is faith. This is faith. And I always share, on many different live streams or whatever, you're choosing either fear or faith. And what Neville talks about, you're actually choosing a consciousness of yourself, because consciousness is the one and only thing that there is. And you're choosing what you allow yourself to believe. This is really important to understand. And he says your prayer must be answered if you assume the feeling that would be yours, were you already in possession of your objective. So assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled. So this is, I wouldn't say it's like wishful thinking. It comes with a higher awareness, and everyone has levels of awareness. And what connects with that awareness is the intellect. It's what you know. And what you don't know is ignorance. So if you didn't know anything about this, consider yourself, you know, I wouldn't say lucky, because you attracted this. Your spirit's ready for it, and you ask for it, whether you know it or not. So I don't know where I was going with that, but this is a couple things that, you know, you should consider. I'll pass it along to somebody else.
Who wants to hop in?
Is it off? There we go.
All right, I'll hop in. So what I enjoyed from this particular chapter, spirit feeling. This is a deep reminder that the law of thinking is a spiritual process. Thinking, feeling, behaving is the spiritual process for creating. And this is what Neville is trying to instill in us, to have us understand this process. And in this particular chapter, he has a few verses or scriptural passages out of the Bible to help us understand that this information that we've been sharing goes back thousands of years. This is not something that we're just making up because it sounds good, but we're helping bring through Neville and our other mentors. It helps us bring clarity so we can share this now with our clients, to put it in simple terms, because we are very powerful creators. But unless we understand this, unless we embody that knowledge and apply it, it doesn't, we're creating unconsciously, and many times we're creating the same things over and over. They may show up in different wrapping paper, but it really is the same circumstances and conditions. So Neville is trying to, again, relay to us our creative power that we have to create the reality. And that's why with our stick person, this stick person brings so much clarity to us. It's very simple, but when we start to understand the different aspects of the mind and what they do, but we need an image, because without an image, and simple image, the mind sounds so abstract. Like, I know I have one, but what does it really do? How do I use it, etc.? So this is what we're here to share. But one of the things that I loved in the first chapter is there is a definite feeling associated with every idea in the mind of man. Wow. Think about that. Every idea comes with a feeling. Sometimes it can be subtle, sometimes it can be very strong. And that's why we've always said, from our mentor who's taught us, this is why the want must be very strong. Because without, and I shared this last week, this is the wanting mind also. This is the one that, oh, I wish I could have this. I'd love to have that. But this is the executing part of the mind. This is where the habits live. So that's why the want has to be really strong. You must really want what you desire to, in a sense, override or retrain the habits that have been preventing us from achieving whatever it is that we want. So I love that the ideas are not, they're not sterile, they're emotional. We call this the emotional part of the mind. And the body responds to what the mind imagines. So this is what Neville is relating to. So I just wanted to share that little part. Alicia?
Yeah, I was thank you, Lou. I was thinking about what you say about the powerful creator that we are all unconsciously. We are always creating, and it takes courage to believe that and to accept that okay, everything I am creating. Um, so it is courage. We need to, in order to take the 100% responsibility for whatever the situation we are in. And of course, there is like circumstances that we cannot um, we cannot create something outside us, but we are always 100% responsibility to how we behave, how we respond to that situation. And I thought about what you say about the every idea comes with a feeling, and Jem talk about the beliefs and the prayer and the faith. And I was talking to a client of mine that is she believes a lot in God and so, and we were talking, and she was like, "Oh, but I am praying all the time, and nothing happened." And I said, "Yeah, but how are you praying? And what is your belief?" But because if you pray all the time the same thing, then you don't have the faith. You don't need to pray about something many times all the time. It's like you don't go to the restaurant and go order the food all the time because you don't have faith that they will not come with the food. You know that you go and you ask for the food, you pay, and then you sit there, and wait. You know that it will come in 5 minutes or in 10 or in 30 minutes, but you know that it will come. And it's the same with prayer, because you prayed once and then you have the faith that everything will be okay. And then also what it can come is that you can get ideas like do this and do this. But sometimes we wait for something extraordinary to happen, and we don't take action for those small ideas. And also again, if your belief is something, it will affect how your ideas will come, and then it will affect how you take action. So sit down and think, what are my beliefs about something? And even if you are praying and praying, nothing is coming, it's because maybe your belief is not there. And we need to start to asking our questions, good questions, to go, to uncover what it is. And for that, you need some courage. Paul.
Oh, thank you, Alicia and Lou and Jamel. Yeah, I think that if I could sort of sum it up, I would say that what Neville is saying is that you don't rise to the level of your goals. You rise or fall to the level of your self-image. And so, like Lou held up that stick man. And so, the conscious mind can choose a new idea, but subconsciously, or your subconscious mind, it's going to only express what it accepts as true. Mm-hmm. So the feeling is that bridge, right? That's the bridge that connects the two. So when your identity changes, then your behavior becomes effortless, because everyone's always trying really hard, and then your results follow. But the thoughts, they don't create on their own. Feeling is what makes it happen. And when what you consistently feel is going to determine who you're being. So I think in this chapter, it's not that spirit is something external or mystical. It's an awareness itself. It's being an observer, observing your thinking, observing your feeling, and your sense of being. And so the feeling is that bridge between awareness and form, and it's what gives life to the idea. And so words without feeling, they just remain surface level. That's why prayers fail. That's why affirmations fail. That's why positive thinking doesn't work, because it's not in harmony with what you're really believing, with what you're really feeling. And I like what Jamel always says, believe in the unseen. And it's not blind faith. Bob always taught us, like, blind faith isn't worth anything, because the first time you get a bump in the road, that's it. You give up on it. But it's just remaining steadfast in that thing that you believe in, and know that it's there. If you can think it, it exists. It exists for you. What you wants you to. But you have to maintain and hold on to that feeling, because when your thoughts and your feelings and your sense of self are aligned, then the action becomes natural. Otherwise, when they're misaligned, then effort increases and the results stall, because you're not in alignment. With your affirmations and what you're saying. Your belief is what's going to rule there. It's what's going to overcome. So you have to really change that self-belief, that self-image. When your identity changes, that's when your behavior becomes effortless, and that's when the results will follow. Jamel.
Can't hear you.
I think you're on mute.
There we go. Wow, this is so good. This is so good. My wheels are turning as you're all sharing this. This is really important to understand. And I'm thinking, like, with this awareness, when you're praying, asking for something, you're announcing to the universe or to spirit or God, whatever religious background, that you don't have this thing and that you're not this person. So it's consciousness. It hears every word, or spirit, infinite intelligence. It hears every word you, especially verbally, say, and even hears your inner speech, which is your belief. So when you're asking for something, you are choosing something that you do not have by verbalizing it, right? Even believing that you don't have this thing. That's why I love that quote. Absence of evidence is not evidence of absence. So it's there. It's just in one form or the other. Remember, energy is never created or destroyed. And that's what we are. We're energy. We're a physical manifestation of the mind. And the mind is also known as spirit or consciousness. So we're actually molecules that are vibrating at a high speed to make us appear to be solid. So this is to help you kind of understand that whatever it is you want is one form or the other. And having that faith and belief, you're able to create what you want without strenuous effort. And that's what Neville's sharing here. I was on just like most people, we rely on our five senses. See, hear, smell, taste, and touch. We're born that way. And that's what we feel is real to us. But if you really think about it, it's so interesting. All of your thoughts, the sum of your thoughts brought you to this moment. Every result in your life, the money you have, the lifestyle you have, the time you have to sleep, the food you get to eat, the nice homes you have, all the material things. The sum total of your thoughts created your reality. So why not create the reality that you want instead of the reality you don't want? So if you're constantly asking for something, can I get this? Can I get this? Please help me get this. Please help me. What do you think you're doing? Right? You're putting all this focus and energy into creating a future you don't want. And spirit wants to give this to you because it flows to and through you to experience oneself and expand and evolve. That's why we're here. This is why you have desires. Spirit wants to know itself through you and create more, be more, do more, have more, right? And you have a bigger impact of what you do in the world or whatever it is professionally. And he says here, the moment you accept the wish as an accomplished fact, the subconscious finds means for its realization, right? So that's when you're getting emotionally involved with whatever it is that you want. Who cares what's happening right now, your current conditions or circumstances? It's an illusion. It's past thinking and past beliefs. It's what you do now with your thoughts. It's what you do now with your feelings. That's why vibration is important. You're a walking magnet, but it all starts with your thoughts and, of course, the feelings. It has to start with a thought. So where do I want to go this year? What do I want to become? What do I want to attract? What do I want? There it is. Build the dream in the conscious and get emotionally involved with it. Then every day you're being guided by spirit. You're creating. You don't have to force it. It's effortless expression. Effortless. Remember when Bob said, either if I ask you to stand up, you either stand up or you sit down, right? You don't try to stand up. You don't try to smile. It naturally expresses itself. That's why Neville talks about it's effortless. You don't have to force it anymore. So he says the perfectly disciplined person is always in tune with the wish as an accomplished fact. So how do you do that? It's discipline. It's mental discipline. It's subjective control. So you can't let other people's ideas and negative Nancy's and sour Steves to dictate what you feel and what you think. They're out there because they got so programmed and conditioned to being that way. But this is where you're disciplined in your own thoughts and you know what you're creating, you know what you're attracting. So I can go on and on and on about that, but that's a couple things that come to mind. Thank you.
You're so funny, Jamel. So I just wanted to go back to what Neville first says, that there's a definite feeling associated with every idea in the mind of man. Then he goes on to say, faith is a feeling. According to your faith, now we've probably all have heard this passage, this verse, according to your faith, and in parentheses, he has the word feeling, according to your faith, be it unto you. And then Neville says, you never attract that which you want, but always that which you are. As a man is, so does he see, meaning who he is objectified in his outer world. So we do not manifest words, we manifest states of being. And we get to, so I just want to go back to our stick person. So this is just a little teaching here. In our thinking mind, where we get to make decisions and choose and use our imagination and our focus, all of these tools that we have up here in the creative part of our mind, this is our conditioned part of the mind. So if you never even use this part, for an example, this already has the personality and your habits and beliefs have already been developed since a very young age. Everything's been recorded. So the majority of us are living off of this, the recordings. This part is the master key. This is where you get to say, yeah, I don't like my results. I don't care for the relationships that I've been in. I want more in life. It just feels off because you've been living off of this, but there's a knowing, because intuition is up here and it's calling you. It's calling for more growth. But until we use the mental faculties that are given to us, this is where our power is. But we're living from habit. See, this is why there's a heart connected here, the emotional mind, because emotions make people act, behave in certain ways, who they believe. But maybe this old identity doesn't feel right anymore. You've outgrown it. So we need to go to this part of the mind to create, geez, what would I like? What would I love? And this is why we talked about, and I mentioned earlier, you must really want it, meaning to be consciously aware of that desire throughout your day. Because if you just pick it up and then put it down, pick it up and put it down, as you're putting it down, this is like, okay, I've already got your personality recorded and your beliefs and habits. And until this part of the mind retrains this part, we will continue to get the same results over and over. That's why having an understanding of what we're all about. And this part is your gift. This is the part that's the gift. But we need to retrain this part. So which one is going to be obedient, if you will? That's why when I spoke last week to unify the mind, oh, I made a decision. I'm not going to do this or I'm going to do that. You're making a decision up here, consciously thinking, creating a new idea up here. But if you're not saying, okay, that's what we're going to do. If you're not consciously being aware of that decision and choice, and as soon as you put it down, this will take over. And every time we do not behave with the decision we want, it reaffirms the pattern. It makes it stronger. So this is why 2 to 4% of our results are actually coming from here. 96 to 98% of our results are coming from here. And so this is why I know my colleagues will attest to this is powerful. This is very powerful. So it's not affirmations alone, but the feeling and the conviction behind them. And spirit feeling is embodiment. So today, the Patriots are in the Super Bowl. I had to bring that in, right? And I think about what Thomas Troward, he uses in one of his books about you going to let's say you go into a football game and you are a huge fan. Now we see them, they're 0 degrees. Their bodies are painted. They have no shirts and right. They are in the spirit of the game. Then you might have people that just are like spectators. Oh, that's nice. The energy from the people that have their bodies painted or the people that are rah, 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 that energy is being transferred to the players. But if everybody was just, there's a low energy in that stadium. Oh, that's nice. That's lovely. Right? So being in the spirit of the idea, the desire that you want means embodying it and making a decision. There's also another passage, in my Father's house, there are many mansions, meaning there are many states of being. You get to choose. You get to choose who you want to be, what feels right, not what's been recorded, but what do you want? Who do you see yourself as? Do you see yourself traveling? Do you see yourself having wonderful relationships? Do you see yourself in a career that serves others? I don't think I can do that. I've never done that before. No, this new idea That's what constant space repetition of a new idea needs to retrain this part of your mind. So I hope that helps. I know for me, it is so powerful because I really, oh yeah, because other than that, it can all feel like this. Everything blends and I can get confused. But when I look at this or I think of it or I draw it out, it brings such clarity. And when I decide on something, I need to unify my mind and say, there's a new sheriff in town. And these are the new rules, but I need to stick to them. And that's through constant spaced repetition of the new idea.
Amazing.
Yeah, I was thinking about what you say about the being the spirit, not in what was recorded. And I was talking to a client of mine, and because we were saying about that the personal development or personal growth is, for me, is a value and is something that is part of me now. But I remember when I started, it was like, oh, I need to do this lesson, or oh, now I need to do that lesson, until I decided that this will be a part of me because I wanted to know who I am, who is this person in this body with all this clad, all this slag from that has been putting on me from childhood. Who is that? What is the diamond inside? Who is the diamond there? And I is why I therefore decided that for me is a value the personal growth and to discover myself, not to be another person, but who I really are is I'm him as who I really am. This is the English, yeah. But is you say about the identity that is outgrowth, and Marshall Goldsmith, he wrote a book that is what is the name? What took you here will not take you there, something that, and it's about that sometimes we stagnate, and because we say that, oh, but I was successful in that and that, and you start to using the same strategy to reach farther, but then you will stagnate, because if you set a goal that is is intended for you to grow and you are still using old strategies, it will be like that you will not achieve that, and then you will get the frustration. And also I was thinking about the thing that Jamel say about the absence of evidence. And I believe that everything that we want is on the other side of that wall that we create ourselves, a wall between what we want and when we are. Because it can be the beliefs that we have, the fear, the habits, actions, behavior, all this create a wall that separate us from what we want. And we need to create new things, to start to grow ourselves so that we can destroy that wall. So everything that we want is on the other side. We just need to create what we need and to take action, because we think that, oh, everything will come from from the heaven. But if you don't take action, then you can want everything, but nothing will happen. So yeah, so that is what I wanted to say about that. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Alicia. It's so relatable what you said, especially at the beginning, because it's relatable to me. Because I remember at one point, I mean, I just really want to look inside and see who I really was. Who am I really, and what is the possibilities, and what is the potential for me really? Not that anything was really like wrong, except that I didn't really know like who I was and what I'm capable of. And that's really what drew me to Bob and this material. And it's a constant evolution of change and understanding, and of loose as inner standing, but really about being aware of who I am, and what's possible for me, and anything is possible. And going back, so I love that what you said there, Alicia. Going back to what I was going to say is that, you know, in this book, you know, the author Neville Goddard, he's making a really important, crucial distinction here. He's saying, you know, thinking about something isn't enough, right? And wanting something isn't enough. And repeating affirmations isn't enough, because the subconscious mind accepts an idea only when it's accompanied by feeling. And that's why, you know, the book, Feeling is a Secret. The subconscious accepts an idea when it's accompanied by feeling. And feeling is a sign that the idea has been accepted. And then once it's accepted, then the expression is inevitable. Then there isn't effort. Okay, so you don't wait for proof to believe, right? You assume first, and then the evidence follows. And that reverses how most people live, right? Most people wait for the circumstances to change outside. When that changes, when this happens, then I will do this. But you have to reach a different feeling first, and then the circumstances must follow. Otherwise, you get that terrible loop, and it becomes effort, because it's not in alignment with what you believe. You have to have that feeling first before, you know, things really start to happen. And that's where, as Jamel said, that's where you look around, you see the results. It's what you believed first. It's what the feelings that you had previously, but that can change at any moment now, because now, you know, where you are right now is from your past thinking. So if you want to have a different future, then, and you can change that by changing those things now, but you have to believe first. You have to have that feeling first. And it's hard to do sometimes, but you do have to get into that state first before you're going to really see the results. Otherwise, it's really, you know, sometimes it can be like hitting your head against the wall, and it's so frustrating. But when you change that around, suddenly things just start to happen for you. Jamel.
Yeah, that's such a great point, you know, because the outside is a reflection of the inside, and we're the cause, and the outside is an effect. And a lot of times we allow the effect to shape the cause. And that's the cycle that many people continue to do throughout their lives. And it's important that you break that cycle, because once you do, you start attracting the things that you want, and you actually raise your awareness and understand yourself that you're a lot more powerful than you're even consciously aware of right now. And I wanted to shout out a few people that are here live. Thank you for the nice comments. Appreciate you. Thank you guys for posting these wonderful dialogues. Thanks for tuning in. I'm glad it's helping, you know, and you shared something else as well I wanted to touch on. You said it feels like, go ahead, Alicia, you wanted to say something?
No, it's like you can read it first, and then I can say something.
Okay. It feels like life is so challenging so often, and the pains pile up beyond belief. Hearing these positive and powerful affirmations of life are truly helpful. Thank you, Jamel, Paul, Alicia, and Lou. So
Yeah.
briefly, I know Alicia has something to share here briefly, if I will.
Yeah.
Um,
I read that, and I think so. Life is life, just life. It is as it is, and then sometimes we say this is challenge and this is good. Um, think about that when some challenge come to you, instead of being, because when we say, oh, this is so challenging, and the pain will come, but you are not fragile. You use an attitude of anti-fragile. Anti-fragile is like, come on, you can give me how many hits, I will not break. If it's like fragile, it's like you're touching something and then everything will fall apart. And think about that whatever life come to you, sometimes what we do is that we overestimate the thing that happened and underestimate our own value, our own power. And then we say, oh, this is a challenge. But if you take the attitude of life, come whatever you give me, I will eat that as an energy bar, because I am anti-fragile, because I can do this, because I can learn things, and finding the good things in what happened, because it's always something positive and something negative in whatever happened to us. I just wanted to say.
yeah, thank you, Alicia. That was great, and that's so powerful. And what I'll just add to that to help you out a little further is, what am I thinking? Ask yourself that. What am I thinking? And what am I focused on? Like, what thoughts am I emotionally involved with? Am I letting the things that are happening on the outside affect the inside? Right. And that's exactly what we're talking about. So if the negative things are really what you're focused on, you have a choice to choose. What helps shift that is gratitude. That helps me a lot, where, maybe you're not feeling your 100% or 1,000%, and focusing on the things that you're grateful for in that moment in your life. It could be family, it could be friends, it could be a pet. I don't know, anything, right? Some material things, TV or whatever it is you're grateful for, really feel grateful for it, and you'll start shifting. And what happens, the negative kind of loses its strength, because you can only think of one thought at a time. So as you focus on one positive thing, another positive and another positive will just kind of appear in your head. So that's just a way to shift it and apply that. It changes lives. It really does. So, and it's interesting because that's a great segue here. Feelings are the causes of the actions and circumstances of life. This is exactly, what I just shared, right? Your feelings, they're the causes of everything. And where do we have feelings, everyone? In our subconscious, here. The body is an instrument of the mind. So if you're feeling good, you have a great vibration, the body has to move and express itself, even send off a vibrational frequency based on what you're feeling, right? You get a good night's sleep, or, I know Super Bowl's going on. Lou mentioned the energy of, people in the stands and painting their bodies and cheering. That's energy. That's a feeling. So the more you tap into that feeling, listen to that. Feelings are the causes of the actions and circumstances of life. So your feelings are creating your circumstances. This is why you need to be very consciously aware of how you're feeling. I had a few of my clients, I recommended just checking in with yourself throughout the day. How am I feeling? How am I feeling right now? How are you feeling right now watching Coach's Corner? Right? So as you do that, you're bringing yourself right to the present, right to this moment, which is where all your power is. This is where your gifts. So he says, prayer is the art of assuming the feeling of being and having that which you want. So it's the art of assuming the feeling. That's why feeling is the secret, right? It's the art of it. So he says to yield successfully, this was huge, to yield successfully to the wish as an accomplished fact, you must create a passive state, a kind of reverie or meditative reflection similar to feeling which precedes sleep. I wanted to kind of just throw that out there because we did talk about it before, but you ever notice like right before you go to sleep, you have like this dreamy feeling. It's like it's not sleep yet where you're just all consciousness is done and you're in your subconscious right before. That's what he's talking about. And you can even tap into that during meditation if you're into meditation as well and visualization. I like to, I've been trying something new. I go in the sun. I found this beautiful sunspot in the floor and I sit there and I visualize and get into a meditative state, just like he's explaining here. So you have to yield successfully to the wish. You don't force it. You calm down, relax, shut out all your conscious busyness in your mind, and you allow it to impact you. And it's really effortless. It really is.
So first of all, thank you. I don't know the person's name. All I see is at brute force. And just the name brute force, I have to question. So, but I wanted to also mention that you said, so we're going back to the fans in the stands, right? Painting themselves. They're geared up because they believe they're going to win.
Win.
They're not going to the game painted up and if they thought they were going to lose. So they are living from that state of winning. That's where their energy is coming from. That's where they're able to withstand these freezing temperatures because they're in the state, we are going to win. They're not going with, oh, I hope we win. It would be lovely if we win. But notice how the thought will change the feeling in their bodies and how they behave. So we also have to watch our words. Life is challenging. Pains pile up. So what you're expressing is your internal dialogue. So, and we've all gone through it. I used to do that a lot. I thought life was coming at me and I had to just fight it off. This is why getting an understanding, an understanding of who we are, what we are, how life works. You know, Paul is a dive coach. If you've had children or perhaps you yourself, if you've done a sport or music, you go to some type of coach, someone who knows, who can teach you. But it's amazing that the biggest game of life, we're just winging it. We're just winging it. There's no guidance, there's no direction. So I think I can speak for my colleagues here, the majority of us were doing this until we came across this material, this information. And the past couple of weeks were, you know, I can use the word challenging, but I really like invitations. Things presented themselves, events presented themselves. They just did. Now it's an invitation for me. How am I going to react or respond? Who am I going to be in this very moment? So instead of a challenge, I like to think of it as an invitation. Energy plus results equals. Oh,
Event plus response
oh,
is
equals.
outcome.
Okay.
Outcome.
Very good. Yeah. So, but even though they seem a little difficult, within me, there was such a strong knowing that whatever I am experiencing, whatever is happening in the physical, in my outer world, I know there's something there for me. There's something for me to learn, something that is showing me, my beliefs, my thoughts, so I don't get wrapped up in the event. I'm more focused on, and like, what am I learning? What is this showing me? And then taking a deep breath and knowing everything's going to be okay. I just know that. And I think, again, I can speak for all my colleagues here. We just know. And we ride the wave. We don't try to swim against it. We just ride the wave. And what's that quote? Everything will be okay in the end. And if it's not okay, it's not the end. And there's just one more little passage. Be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. You have the power. You have the power. Geez, I don't like the way I've been feeling. I don't like those constant thoughts that I have. Here's your key. You get to make the choice. You get to make the choice. One of the last sentence that he has here, and I have it highlighted in a heart. When a man believes in the value of the advice given him and applies it, he establishes within himself the reality of success. I'll end my part with it.
Anybody?
Oh. That was a lot of things there. Interesting. Jamel said he had a check-in with his clients, and a check-in is, how are you feeling? And so if you sit back and reflect on how you're feeling, a feeling is a word we use to describe the vibration or frequency we're in. So go back, you're feeling whatever it is you're feeling. Look back to what it is that you're thinking. What is it you're thinking about? What it is that you're anxious about? What are you worried about? What are you excited about? When you're excited about a trip and you're excited, you feel great. You feel good. You're going. And when it's, Christmas morning, you feel great. What are you thinking about? But maybe there's a test result you're waiting for. Or maybe you're not looking forward to dealing with a certain client. So all of a sudden you're feeling, anxious or something like that. So you have, be aware, monitor when your feeling is telling you what it is you're thinking. So you have to go back to that. And the other thing Lou said, interestingly, was because I coach young athletes diving, springboard diving. And so, divers will come. I'm the same coach. They have the same facility, the same board. And some students will go on the board and they don't believe they can do it. Their default is, I'm going to make a mistake. I'm going to smack. I'm going to fall on my face, going to fall on my back or something like that. Whereas someone else is going to go for it. It's not that they're not scared, but they have this belief that they can do it. And I like to remind, all the athletes, whatever you see someone else doing, you can do too. Maybe not at this moment, but there's no, I can't. I'm not able to right now. I'm nervous right now. Those are all acceptable thoughts, and we can overcome that. But just saying I can't is not an acceptable idea. And so generally, our default mechanism, and that's just an example, like in sports, like someone standing at the end of a diving board, I can't do this. I can't do it. I just saw someone else do it, but I can't do it. You just, I've given you all the lead ups, all the instructions. You've had all the same training. And now it's just a matter of you doing it. And you have to see yourself doing it, and you have to believe that you can do it. And so, the secret, as Neville is saying, this the secret is that the feeling is going to determine your identity. So I believe I can do something, or I don't believe I can do it. Why is that? Why is it? What is going on there? But when your feeling changes, then your behavior will change. And when your behavior follows, then your whole life reorganizes. There is without this force, without this effort, you have these like someone mentioned, these challenges, or Lou mentions, these invitations. But Neville's insight is that life doesn't respond to what we want or what you think about occasionally. It responds to what feels natural to you and to who you are being. And that's why Neville is saying, you don't become what you want, you become what you are. So when your conscious thinking mind selects an idea and, with feeling, it installs it into your self-image, then you move differently. Then the choices change, then your actions change, and then the results just follow without the real force. So the real work isn't chasing outcomes, it's aligning your identity. Change your self-image, and then the world has no choice but to reorganize around that. Jamel.
Elisa, do you have anything to share?
No, I have a lot to share, but I am, but I am considering we are in the top of the hour, so.
Okay. All right. Wow. All right. I guess we're wrapping this book up, unless Alicia wants to do a whole episode on what she has to share next time. But no, this has been such a great pleasure sharing this amazing, powerful book. And I'm glad, I'm grateful we're all in synergy to share this knowledge, because it changes everything when you apply it and understand it. Just a few points, to close here. He says, thoughts produce tiny little speech movements, which may be heard in the passive state of prayer. So, and I like to even emphasize, thoughts, and you don't even have to be in a prayer state. I know for a fact through experience, what you tune into, you turn into. So basically what you believe yourself to be or have, it's always working. Your thoughts are always working, and you're always impressing your subconscious. He also mentions all you can possibly need or desire is already yours. All you can possibly need or desire is already yours. And I know it's a challenging concept for everyone to accept, but know that it is very, very valid. You need no helper to give it to you. It is yours now. So that's just shifting your understanding of yourself. And as you capture the feeling of the state sought, you are relieved of all effort to make it so. So once you already feel, think about it. Whatever you want, whatever goal you want, it's already done. There's no effort. How would you feel when it's done? Right? So be in that state now, for it is already so, is what he says there. And faith, Lou touched on this, faith is feeling. According to your faith, be it unto you. So faith is feeling. According to your faith, which is feeling, be it unto you. So that which you feel yourself to be, you are, and you are given that which you are. So you're given that what you believe yourself to be. So that's why it's important to tap into the feeling. And lastly, this was very close to what Lou mentioned at the very end. It was right above it. So I thought she's going to say the same thing I'm saying right now. But we're always, we find the same parts that kind of resonate with us. He says, I and my Father are one. It is natural to do the works of the feeling of being the one you want to be, and that you shall be. Wow, that was really big because it is natural to do this, very natural, to do the work so the feeling of being the one you want to be, and you shall be. So, and it's very new for a lot of people, I'm sure, for most people that watch this. But as you take it one day at a time and really even just make believe, just pretend, use that marvelous sacred gift of imagination, pretend, you'll start developing that mental muscle, and it'll start feeling really good. And you're actually creating on the spiritual creative plane as well, rather than forcing things, and it's effortless. So, and you're tapping into basically your greatness. So, of course, if anything resonated with you and, this motivated you to apply it or learn more about yourself, as you can tell, all of us here want to help you dearly because we went through a lot of experience with this material. And, don't think that this is the end for you. This is the new beginning for you because you attracted this. You watched it to the end. You're watching a replay. Why do you think you keep coming back? Because you know you have greatness within you. So feel free to reach out to any one of us. Our call links are either in the comments or the description. Of course, whatever platform you're watching this, just message us because we want the best for you and to guide you to whatever result that you want. All right, everyone, this has been amazing. Coach's Corner. We'll see you next time, and we're going to surprise you with our next topic. Bye, everybody.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.